Thank you very much, Mr. Teep. Our fourth and final speaker this morning is Professor Eman Gaad, who will present on parents in support of educational and social inclusion of children with Down syndrome, a perspective from the Emirates. Professor Gaad is the co-founder of the Emirates Down Syndrome Association. She's also Dean of the Faculty of Education and Professor of Special and Inclusive Education at the British University in Dubai. Thank you, Professor Gaad.
Assalamu alaikum. Right, today I'm presenting on behalf of the UAE Down Syndrome Association. We call it now the Emirates Down Syndrome Association for short, so people know a little bit about us. Allow me just to give you a very brief history about our organization. It started in 2005 by forming a very small support group. We call it the UAE Down Syndrome Support Group in a tiny room in a social club. And then grew to become now the former representative of the United Arab Emirates people with Down syndrome. This is our place on a lovely little villa on what we call Jumeirah Beach in Dubai, but actually it's a federal organization that actually represents every single person with Down syndrome in the United Arab Emirates. It's working. If you wonder who we are, basically a group of professionals who just got together to make life better for people with Down syndrome in that lovely, thriving country. We have values, and one of the values is integrity. And without the support of our families, we would never conclude to become this strong, benchmarked association. One of the main pillars of our beliefs is to support families with Down syndrome, because by supporting them, they can support their own children. We have just over 600 members from several, as you know, the United Arab Emirates is a very, as they say, it's a melting cultural pot with lots of nationalities live together in harmony and peace. And we have just over 600 members enjoying our services and supporting us tremendously to go forward and to change life to the better for people with Down syndrome in the United Arab Emirates and in the Gulf, and hopefully everywhere as well. The role of our family is very simple. I love this little picture because it just reflects how mothers support their daughters, and specifically teenagers who would be a little bit shy to come out and I wouldn't say eradicate the social stigma, because the country came a very long way and considered as a benchmark in the region in supporting people with Down syndrome, particularly girls, to unlock their full potentials. So basically, we always carry the slogan, we're never shy to take my child everywhere. We spread awareness whenever we get the opportunity. Everywhere, you would find parents holding the fort, helping, supporting, all the way from cooking a small meal to actually educating themselves to know a little bit more about Down syndrome. We celebrate the change by actually taking the children out along with parents as well. They are our best advocate to talk about their own children, not only the challenges they face and the pitchy look, not really changes that into the strong, positive look where people with Down syndrome find their own potential. Parents do this by educating themselves. We organize conferences, and they organize their own needs in conferences. So every year they tell us what is it that they want to know about. And I hope they're watching today, so they learn from each individual here on the podium and the previous session about how the world is seeing Down syndrome and working towards to support people with Down syndrome. We basically try to go out there and make a difference, even if it's a small little corner when we try to paint with the children, to go all the way to universities to talk about how we see the potential for people with Down syndrome going into higher education. We have a little project called the Teacher Assistant Project, where actually, because the country ratified the UN conventions and one of the countries that really believe strongly to do difference in the lives of people with Down syndrome, now we have those children in the school, but it's the pace of educating and rehabilitating and actually preparing teacher assistant to support with individualized educational plan is a little slightly not going as fast as including them in the school. So basically we graduate that. We give parents, if they wish to go as teacher assistants to study for a year, and this is in collaboration with the British University in Dubai and with support of Emirates Foundation, which is based in Abu Dhabi. Advocacy is fun, not always as you see from some of the pictures, not just basically we learn the latest rehabilitative trends and issues. We also take the children out for picnic, and when people approach, we actually talk about them. We go slightly different from handing out all the brochure. We actually take the children are our brochure, so we take them out to talk about them with pride. Inclusive education is the key. We believe strongly that by actually going out to school, and you can see here some self-advocacies, we're taking people with Down syndrome to actually convince the inclusion of children with Down syndrome, and parents support that. So every time we take a parent to talk about the experience of changing lives by including a child with Down syndrome into the mainstream schooling. In the workforce, without the support of parents, we would have never done it. To check safety, we have parents everywhere. I call them my fleet. They have a fleet of people. They go out there and they seek support for us. We turned lately to art therapy, and we found that children enjoy that much being in the essence of artists. So actually we have now workshops for parents to support the art development of their own children by attending those workshops as well. Sport is very important. Fathers specifically take part in this, and they enjoy taking out their children into sports facilities and attend those games and encourage people to watch those games as well. We have hundreds, literally hundreds of success stories, but I just thought I'll bring a little bit of some of our success stories here, and we just basically give them very, very small slogan, which I can. We want people to be infected with positive values about the abilities, not just the disabilities, looking at the potentials. Some of our partners, we have lots of partners here, but this is just some of our partners, and every one of those partners came from a parent's contact. We actually use our parents to go out there, spread the word, and grab not only the fund, but actually the support from customers. I have a little video I would like to share. This was just some of the samples of how parents organized this. They did this, we didn't. They actually included their children everywhere. They're not shy to take them everywhere. By spreading the message, not just by talking about Down syndrome in hiding or in little corners, they actually are very proud about their children, and they take them everywhere. I would like really to conclude by giving some messages to those families that supported us to come not only all the way here, but to be strong, because advocates would never be able to be strong without the support of the families of people with Down syndrome. So this is for a mother. This is for every single mother, all the mothers in the country I presented today, which is the United Arab Emirates, and every mother everywhere, including those wonderful mothers I've met yesterday and today. I would like to say thank you. Thank you for fighting the social stigma with educating yourself, spreading love and awareness, and for celebrating differences by taking your child everywhere. This is the only way to do it. Take your child everywhere, and you've been doing that. So keep going. It's working. For the father, For our fathers here and everywhere, thank you for taking your child to that football game. Yes, we know you like it, but thank you for attending and taking your little son there and your little daughter as well, and attending the school events, pretending that you understand the teacher where sometimes you don't, but you know what? Even if you get a little bit of the educational goal, you're there. Pretending that you are there and sometimes you're not, but the overall goal, we know that you are there supporting your child. And for being proud to talk about your child when you sit among other family members and among other men and among other families, to be proud of his strengths, not just to reflect on the weakness if there are any, because quite frankly, I think we learned so much from the strengths of people with Down syndrome. And now finally to the sibling, for the sisters and brothers out there, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for waiting for him or her to score the goal, waiting maybe slightly longer, but waiting for there and cheer when that goal gets in, when that ball gets on the goal. And thank you for the pillow fight and for the little fights in general, because you know what? It's working. Keep it up, keep going, it's working. Finally, I would like to conclude by mentioning a word by a person with Down syndrome who said simple words but very powerful. He said that it is not how I look, it is how you see me. So thank you for the families and for the support, because by seeing the potentials in your children and helping the world out there to see those potentials, your thoughts are spreading strength and love and awareness about what they can do, not what they can't do. So please give yourself a very good round of applause, because you deserve it. Keep it up. It's working. Thank you.